We are joined by Central Oklahoma head volleyball coach Edgar Miraku, who begins his sixth season in charge of the Broncos on September 1st. Coach, would you please start with an opening statement about the 2017 season?
Well, I'm sure much like every coach around the nation, volleyball or otherwise, right now everybody's excited and eager, ready to jump into our new season. So I'm no different than every other coach in MIAA, and like I said, nationwide, eager and excited to get things going again and see what we can do again.
The MIAA year in and year out is an incredibly tough conference for volleyball. It always produces some of the best teams in the country, some of the top ranked teams in the country. What do you know about this year? Is it going to be the same this year?
Yes, it's tough. I mean, sometimes it feels like that's an understatement when you're in the trenches week in, week out with all of our players and other teams and preparing and so on. It's definitely tough. I also think, and I say this every year, that's what's made us and a lot of other teams very good in this league. So from that perspective, we're also proud to compete in MIAA. As usual, there will be good teams again. I think Kearney is going to be an excellent team. They pretty much ran through the conference last year, represented us very, very well in the regional tournament, and they're going to be, no question, up there. Washburn is the same way. They've been a program that's been steady for a long time. Central Missouri, unfortunately last year they were hit by multiple injuries, which affected their program, and it affects any program. But I think they're going to be right back in. And then you always have the other schools who continue consistently to get better. Specifically, I'd say the next batch teams that have always been there and always, get wins from the top teams I just mentioned. Specifically, Northwest Missouri State, they've been doing great in the last few years. I don't think they lost a lot of players from last year, so they'll be back with a vengeance. Fort Hays had a very, very good season last year. Emporia State, Missouri Western. So you have a lot of schools that have consistently performed good, but in a way they get punished, quote unquote, because they compete with some of the top teams in the nation, being in MIAA. So I feel like sometimes some of those schools don't get enough credit because of how tough it is in the conference. And then you have the remaining schools who, in my opinion, continue to do well, but in a way experience the same thing as everybody else does. They're playing against tougher and tougher competition. So it's going to be tough again.
When you look at your roster, you only have one senior on the roster this year, and that's Alexis Washington. Can you talk about what she brings to the team?
Lex is an amazing person, number one. And I always say you got to be a great person before you can be a great player. So Lex fits the description perfectly in my mind as a coach and in my philosophy as a coach. So when you start with an amazing, big-hearted person and teammate, then a lot of good things come along with that. Lex joined our program last year as a transfer. So the good thing with her also is her versatility. Lex could go play left, she can go play middle, she can go play right. And last year is a great example where she would do whatever is best for the team. So from that perspective, in my mind as a coach, it's really a nice feeling to have somebody who's a great person, who's a great teammate, and on top of that can play more than one position. So she brings a lot to the team. She brings great chemistry, she brings great teammate, leadership, and versatility.
Taylor Bevis, and as a sophomore in 2016, became the 5th All-American for UCO in UCO volleyball history. And then this after winning MIAA Freshman of the Year in 2015. So a couple of questions about Taylor. Can she be better as a junior, or really just what can we expect from her this season?
Well, she definitely could be better. Taylor has been having a great first 2 years on her career here at UCO. She's a very proud Bronco. She's currently our captain. She's a great leader. But I always say, and I don't say this simply from a coaching perspective, you can always get better. And to answer your question in a simplistic way, she can do better. She can get better at everything she's been doing so good so far. I know I'm not giving specifics, but yes, she can be more reliable in the back row. She did that for us last year, where she played 6 rotation all the way around, and she can be more dominant in the front row. As dominant as she was in MIAA, I still think there's room for her to improve and grow and help the whole team in the process.
That junior class altogether is a strong group. With Taylor and Jordan Spence, both of them have been all MIAA in both of their freshman and sophomore seasons. You get another transfer in Karen Chrisman, and last year you got Mackenzie Fife. Of course, she sits out, and now we'll see her on the court. So, talk about that junior class and how strong they are and what they mean to the team.
The junior class means a lot to the team, not simply from a volleyball side of things, but from a leadership and experience side of things. Like you said, we only have one senior, so the junior class combined with Lex as a senior are going to be our leadership basically for this year and moving forward, and laying the foundation for the newcomers as well. So yes, to get more specifics, we expect a lot of things out of this junior class and Lex for this season. We're excited to see Mackenzie Fife in our setting position, see what she can do and how much she can help the team. You know, with Katie Davies having been there for 4 years, you know, those are some big shoes to fill. And then we have some adding pieces, like you said. You know, Karen has joined the team. We're excited to see where she can fit in and how much she can contribute. So all the juniors are going to have a role. The question is what kind of a role, when, and how much.
Moving down to the sophomores on your team, Dominique Lapari and Lindsay Becker, both saw action as true freshmen last year in 2016. What does that do for them to get right in there and get to see the MIAA and get to start playing collegiate volleyball?
I think it's very positive for both of them that they were able to be in the team last year and see and experience what it takes in the MIAA night in, night out. I think that's a big misperception in general for a lot of freshmen, that they come in here or in other schools and sometimes not fully prepared to what MIAA level and demand from an athletics perspective brings about. So both Lindsay and Dom are very full aware of that. Dominique was able to come in and start as a freshman. We were very excited, with high expectations for her, and she was able to do a good job there. I think Lindsay contributed somewhat in a smaller role, but Lindsay also is coming back and experienced a partial torn labrum last year. So we're very excited to have her back, hopefully full force now, where she can contribute just as much as well. Having had a year under her belt, not necessarily just simply playing some, but more importantly practicing and gaining that experience in the first year as a student athlete in MIAA.
You have a lot of newcomers. When you return 5, so you gotta fill up that roster somehow, and a lot of those newcomers are freshmen, but they're freshmen, but they're really talented. And so, what do you see from that group of whether, you know, finding a role, finding their place on the team? What do you think the freshmen can do for you?
Well, obviously, we're excited for all of them to be here. Number one, I mean, why would we have recruited them otherwise, right? So we're excited about literally every single one of them, and we do have a lot of shoes to fill in the sense of however many players we lost by virtue of graduation and losing eligibility. So from that perspective, we need not just numbers, but trying to maintain our chemistry, our culture of our program, and on top of that, our performance of our program in the MIAA. We need not just good character players, which all of them are fit that description, but also good quality players. So from that perspective, we're excited, very excited about the left and right pin hitters, I would say. They both can play left and right, Haley and Allie. And then Erica, we have high expectations of Erica on the defensive end as well as on the setting side, where her and Mackenzie can join efforts and produce and give as much to the team as we can. Like I said, to fill Katie Davis's shoes. And then we have several other players who are also joining, you know, Jordan, Kramer, Callie, as well as Katie Grace. So we expect from all of them to adjust as quickly as we could, as quickly as they could, and that's where the team culture and the upperclassmen can help. But also we expect them to contribute, if not immediately in the matches, also on the practice every day. And last but not least, very excited also to have Malia Kalahelo join us on the middle position as well. She's another player and an amazing person who we have high expectations in the long run as part of this program.
One more question here. You get 30 wins in back-to-back seasons for the first time in program history. What does it take to maintain that level, and are you willing to say whether you can maintain that level in 2017?
That's a loaded question. Every coach knows that, but as much as this might sound like a cliche answer, I think I demonstrate this every day, and we talk to our team every day about this, and all of our players will vouch by this. Basically, we do not worry. We never worried last year, do we get 30 or not? We got to make sure we take the next match. Can we prepare to our max for the next match? Be that match a conference match, or prior to the conference start, be that match a non-conference match. The way the Division II rankings and RPIs and regional rankings work is every match matters. And we have another year where we've done our best to schedule our max number of regional opponents. Last year we had 34 matches. All 34 of those were regional opponents. So this year we're looking at pretty much exact same scenario, added more tough matches on the non-conference side as well. So basically we want to make sure we can get better every day, get better and secure more and more wins. Whether that takes us to 30 or 28 or 24, that really is personally very relevant to me. I think a successful program is not always measured simply by wins and losses. We know that. It's also measured by growth and accomplishments, individual growth as well as team growth. So I personally lose sleep a lot during season, but getting 30 wins is not one of the things I'm going to lose sleep over.
All right, thank you for joining us today. Coach, good luck on the upcoming season.
Thank you so much.